everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Wowhead Weekly number 105. This is the last Wowhead Weekly of 2016. We have quite a bit to talk about today, considering we will not have a show next week because of the holiday. But before we get into all of that, I want to introduce my lovely co-host, Wowhead site manager, Perculia.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us on this day. It's earlier than usual for Wowhead Weekly, but we've got the holidays coming up. And yeah, we don't have a lot of PTR news, but we have lots of holiday news and live
Yes.
news going on.
Yes,
So
there is a lot of stuff going on. As far as the PTR goes, we finally got to see the Blades Edge Arena update that we've been talking about for a while. Do you want to see a video of it?
yeah, we should show that. There's a really fun announcer.
Yeah, here it is.
Let the games begin. You bore me. Get in there and fight! Stop hiding!
Yeah, you guys get the idea, but it looks really good. I like the Ogre King a lot. Like, he's very funny. He reminds me of Joffrey from Game of Thrones. Like, he does. He's like, get in there and fight. And I think it's cool. I wonder
I
if they'll
thought it was
add.
Viking Volgar that came back to life. I think I saw that somewhere. Maybe I'm just mixing the two up, but I think that would be funny too because he is a
Absolutely. Absolutely. It
so
looks really good. I'm not super into Arena, but like I used to do Arena back in like Burning Crusade and early Wrath of the Lich King, and it definitely looks significantly better than it did back then. And with Blizzard doing things like updating all of the character models over the years and all of that, it makes sense that they're updating some of these older places and
yeah.
assets that were
I actually
previously
got a pretty
untouched.
good reaction from it when I shared it today on WoW. Had a lot of people, like Arena isn't the most popular thing on WoW, but people were really excited. And they're like, "Oh, I wish all of Blade's Edge could be redone as this
Yeah.
high pixel resolution area. Wouldn't that be so cool?"
Yeah,
So
I'm pro. You know, it's funny because I was going to mention this later on, but this isn't PTR related. But this week was the official like turning point where the Cataclysm world has been in game longer than the vanilla world was. So it's one of those things where we're almost so used to those high resolution textures now
yeah,
that
they're
the
interesting
areas.
graphics. some updates.
Yeah, that some of the older areas that haven't been done yet don't look as good, and you want them to be redone. So I'm excited to see that they're doing things, even things that aren't necessarily as popular. You know what I mean? Like, I know people have been upset because there hasn't been a new BG since, what, Mr. Pandaria?
Yeah, and then
So,
was Ashran and Warlords.
yeah, Ashran. Well, does that count? I don't know if that counts, but
But
yeah. So I think it's nice that they're still doing things like this that maybe aren't something that the entire community as a whole is looking to have, but is still something that people will appreciate that do things like that. So also exciting is that 7.15 is now downloading in the background in the BattleNet launcher.
So a lot of people are trying to speculate and see what that means, because normally when you can download something, it means that it's getting ready to go live. And it's just complicated because we have this holiday break where nothing is going on. And we know that Nighthold is the 17th, so we think that the patch is going to go live before then. But, we still have this buffer period of, a few weeks of holidays in there. So
yeah.
My guess is that 715 will be live on the 10th because people are probably still on vacation, like tech people on the 3rd, and the 17th is Nighthold, and class changes of Nighthold on the same day might be too much.
Yeah, it would make a lot more sense. You had said it last week, and I hadn't really considered it, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for them to add this new raid without having done the class changes first.
Yeah, plus all in 715, the secondary stats on all the Nighthold gear are rebalanced, and the whole stat rebalancing project is happening, so that would be weird to happen if Nighthold was already live.
Yeah, it would be super weird to change it a week after. So it's probably pretty likely that Nighthold, since Nighthold is coming out on the 17th, that we might get 715 on the 10th. I think the 3rd would be too soon, but I'm also kind of surprised that they would announce Nighthold and not announce the patch if it was going to be beforehand.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the blue post that announced Nighthold, people were like, oh, so is Nighthold the same as 715? And they're like, no, but on the other hand, we wouldn't want to have a raid go live with, class changes in the middle of it. So
yeah,
it's a little wishy-washy. I feel like maybe they could have explained this on a stream or, making a fancy blog post about it, but
yeah.
We don't have that. So
if I had to guess, it's probably because they wanted 715 out as soon as possible, and they don't know when that realistically will be, but they probably know it will be before.
They have a slight disclaimer how they're like, we are aiming to unlock normal and heroic Nighthold on January 17th.
Yeah.
So it's they're aiming, but I guess if something happens,
scary.
Back.
I'm scared. I hope it comes out when they say it came out, because otherwise people are going to be so upset. I don't even think I will personally care. I'm just scared of the backlash. I'm scared of the backlash. But as far as live servers go, right now the pet battle bonus event is out, meaning that everybody gets 200% additional pet experience when they're competing in pet battles. If you complete 5 PvP pet battles, you'll get a level 25 ultimate stone, which will take one of your pets immediately from level 1 to 25, if that's what you want to do. There's tons of Wowhead guides as far as beginners. If you don't have a lot of pets, what are the best pets that you can use, or the ones you can get the easiest and the cheapest. I recently did a video that showcased the method where if you use your pet treat and your hat, you can get a pet from 1 to 25 in 4 battles, which during this bonus event, it's 2.5.
Yeah.
So now's a great time. I know that Squirt was up a few days ago. He's not up anymore, but he's another great way to power level.
Yeah, if you don't know who Squirt is a menagerie trainer that shows up in your garrison every 15 days, and US and EU are on different cycles. And it's really good for power leveling. And it's especially good when Squirt lines up with the pet battle bonus event. And it's super event if that also lines up with the Dark Moon Fair rep and experience game.
Yeah.
So this aligned for the US. I'm not sure if people have predicted when the next one will line up, because Mr. Pandaria time walking in 715 will
throw the whole schedule off. Yeah.
But Squirt is up for a day, and I know people that would block out their day just to level all these pets with Squirt.
You know what was terrible is I was busy, and so I didn't even I didn't even log on to WoW on the 20th. So I totally missed that, which sucks, because I'm I wouldn't call myself a serious pet battler, because PvP pet battles still kind of scare me, but I always
have so many pets.
Yeah, I have a lot of pets. I always try to do the world quests. I always I try to keep my good tier 1 guys leveled up, and if someone comes into the new meta, I try to get them leveled up, and I take it very seriously. I think right now I'm at 820. I think I'm at 820 pets, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, a few. I've got a few pets. But yeah, so I really like to try to do those when they're available because I want to get my level 1s that are good. Like for the longest time, my Molten Corgi was only level 1. And if I had one piece of advice for somebody who is like new to pet battles, if you have a Molten Corgi, level him up. He's amazing because he has an ability that does a ton of damage but can't kill the enemy. So if you're trying to catch things or in that way at all, like he's like the safest pet to use, but he also does a ton of damage, so you can use him in a lot of combinations, and I just recently leveled him up. So yeah,
there's this guide on Wowhead called Notable Battle Pets by Family that recommends like 5 pets per family and why they're good, and like Corgi is there for that reason. And you know, like pets are all different things, like, oh, you know, this one's good for utility, this one's good for, you know, it's like the only pet of this family that's also has the strong damage attack, so it like resists.
Like the Gilnean Raven is one you see a lot. The Anubisiath Idol is one you see a lot. Chrominius. Those are all big damage dealers. They can also
here if you can find it. But so I mean, like that's one, like a Wowhead user wrote this, Electrophorus, and it's a really good guide. So you know, recommend just checking out.
Yeah, absolutely. Pet battles are one of those fun little things too, where if you're not really into them, I feel like one day you'll try them out and then you'll lose a whole day to pet battling. You'll be like, where did today go? Because it's just a fun little side activity. And it also is something that you can do. Like a lot of the times when I was leveling pets and when I was collecting pets, I was doing it in conjunction with something like archaeology, where
if you're waiting for a few, you can knock a few out.
You're already kind of going out and about anyways, so you can, you know, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So also if you are working on the dire beak hatchling or the snow feather hatchling or the blood feather hatchling, now is a really great time to get those quests, at least get them up to their level 25, because it's going to be way faster for you. And all of them have like quests where they'll tell you to go do something, and then when you're done, they need like a day or 2 to take a nap from their big adventure. So
plus if you don't know what Falcosaurs are, there are these world quests that spawn in different areas, and you can do these and you can get a little baby battle pet, but he's level 1, and you have to level it to 25 before you can start doing things like, you know, taking a pet around as you kill a boss in a raid.
There's all sorts of little things, and some of them are a little weird. Like I was having issues with my snow feather hatchling wasn't getting credit for his battles, and it was just a weird glitchy thing where he also has to be summoned at your side, not just in the battle. It's got to be like both, and you kind of have to check a couple times during the battle to make sure he doesn't get dismissed. And then it was weird because one time I got credit for 2, and I think it was because he was summoned and on the team. I don't know. It was very confusing, but Wowhead comments are super helpful for that too. But yeah, pet battles are fun. If you haven't ever gotten into pet battles, I think the weekend event, or the weekly now event, is such a good time to do it because you're not necessarily battling all like pro people who just pet battle all day. There's a lot of people who are just kind of casual about it, so it's a lot more fun.
Pets up and not even do the PvP thing.
Also, wait, this is a good piece of advice. If you are going to do the 5 PvP pet battles, do them on low level pets. Don't do the 5 PvP pet battles with level 25s. Do them with like level 10s, because it's going to be way easier to it'll be like a 50-50 win rate, because it's not going to be these super serious
like maxed out pets, like
like these crazy like perfect stats and everything. You'll win them much quicker, and it'll be much less painless if you go through and do it with like level 10s or 15s. And that's all the pet battle advice I have. But also, if you are a pet collector and you haven't received it yet, the Snowy Owl is up right now. It only spawns during the winter, which is December 22nd through March 12th? Something like that. So it's only going to be up during the winter. So if you do not have the Snowy Owl, make sure that you snag one. They're not super hard to find. They're just only spawn during the certain holidays. So make sure you grab one if you don't have one yet.
People are also saying that like if you kill the other critters, it might increase the chances of having the Snowy Owl spawn. So, Yep. And they're all over the zone. It's not like one area. They're just
that wasn't one that I had I remember having a huge issue with. The one that I had an issue with was there was a pet in Northrend that only spawned when it was snowing. I think it's like the Arctic fox or the snow fox.
Oh, the one in Storm Peaks.
Oh my god, that one took forever. That was the most difficult, but that was before cross realm zoning. It's probably better now. But yeah, so if you don't have the owl, make sure you grab him. That's for the zookeeper title that you can get from collecting all of the pets in Azeroth. Then also this week was the 9th and final week of Insurrection, which is the Nighthold story quest. I saw a couple people on my realm were actually confused about this. I saw in like general chat and LFG that people were like, looking for
this was a big
looking for a Nighthold group, and I'm like, I feel like you're a little bit early for that. And they're like, no, it's open right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not. It's not, though.
So the final quest in Insurrection, I mean, it's not really spoilers, but basically it tells the story going up to Nighthold, and it sets the story up as to why your character is now motivated to go into the raid, so I can understand why some people are like, I was just told to go into the raid.
I was just told to do
let
this.
me into the raid.
But pretty much what it is that, you're a couple weeks ahead. If you're finishing now, you're actually a couple weeks ahead of the curve, which is good for you. They're giving people a little while to catch up before Nighthold will actually be available. But once it is, you will get a follow-up quest that will reward you with the Arcanist's Mana Saber, which is a really pretty mount. It's kind of a recolor of the Mystic Rune Saber. It's got a little bit different doodads, but very similar mount.
So, I know during the PTR, some people thought that by doing the questing, you would just get the mount, but you have to kill Gul'dan and then do this follow-up quest called Fate of the Nightborn to get the mount. And what's also interesting is people are worried that they won't be able to do the Gul'dan quest in LFR, and we don't have any confirmation if you can or can't, but the quest for Good Suramaritan that required going into a raid was available on LFR.
Yeah.
So this one might be as well. I know things like Balance of Power aren't, but the other Suramar raid quest was doable on LFR.
Yeah, so hopefully it will be. And I think it will be because of the reward and because of how the quest kind of led up to, where it is now. It should... Yeah. Fingers crossed for people who do not, raid regularly with a group. Hopefully it will be available on LFR, even if not initially, eventually, because that's a super cool mount. And it's so Suramar. It's such a Suramar mount, so I really like it. I have the Mystic Rune Saber, but I actually think I like the color variant of this one a little bit better.
Yeah, plus it has a special perk where if you use it in Suramar, you are put into that disguise.
I didn't know that. That's really cool. Wait, so it automatically disguises you if you're on that mount in Suramar?
Yeah, that's what it says. So,
oh my gosh, I didn't realize that. That's very cool. I'm really way more excited about that than I probably should be. You guys have probably heard me say this until I'm blue in the face, but I play Resto Shaman, and
right, and that was really bad for you before 7.
Yeah. In 7.1 they changed it so that when you go into Ghost Wolf form, or if you're a druid and you go into one of your druid forms, it will change you into like a Mana Saber so that you're still in your disguise. So the fact that now I have like a mount that will disguise me, and I'll stay in disguise if I run away as a wolf, I'm happy to see that they're adding these kind of convenience things, even though it's sort of late. It's weird because, like, when I started doing Suramar, I hated it. I had such a hard time. I felt like I was always dying. And then as my gear got better, I realized that a lot of my issues were that I tried to always run away. Like, I always just assumed that I, couldn't fight these guys, or that there would be too many.
Plus, you can just jump into the basket if it gets really overwhelming.
Well, I was never in an area where there was a basket. That's my life, I guess. But... yeah, so I always hated it, and then as my gear has gotten better, I realize now that if something happens, just stop and fight and then redisguise and it'll be okay. Yeah. But I don't know if that's just gear or if I've gotten smarter. Either are possible. But also this week, a new archaeology quest for the Prize Rock neckband became available. You can pick that up in Dalaran from the archaeology trainer in the building that's over where all the profession stuff is. Yeah. And that is a eye level 850 neck with 3 sockets in it. Of course, the quests rotate every other week for archaeology, so if you want to get that, you gotta do it. You only have 2 weeks to do it.
One more note about that as well. Like, I know in the early beta, and I think when Legion went live, it was showing up as an 815 neck that had, 1 socket with a leech bonus, and yeah, the stats are really changed around. It's 850, and it has a lot of secondary stats, and if you're curious how that will change... in 7.15, you can view the PTR version on ptr.wowhead.com and be like, oh, the stat went up or the stat went down.
I'm going to try turning off my feed to you to see if it improves the quality of this. So hang on just one.
Okay.
Let me see if it might get worse, but then it might get better after it gets worse.
Okay.
It seems like it's on the verge of getting better, so we'll just give it a second. Thank you guys for being patient while we work through kinks. I found a program that we're going to start using after the holidays, but it was
awesome.
Kind of a weird time to do that right this second. So thank you for understanding when perk turns into just 1 pixel. Just 1 pixel of a perk, but I really appreciate it. I haven't seen many people being too concerned about it, and I wanted to let you guys know that we noticed that you're being patient. We really appreciate it. Yeah, archaeology. Sorry.
Are we good to move on, or are you still moving?
We are.
Okay.
Also, there were some Trial of Valor nerfs that went through this week. Some of the abilities were nerfed, and bosses now have 10% less HP. So for guilds that aren't on holiday break, if you were struggling on either normal or heroic, it's gotten a little bit easier for you. I guess mythic as well, but I'm not even thinking
All
about that.
difficulties. So, there's been some mythic only things too, Gorm, for example, like reduced damage dealt by Flame Lick on impact on mythic difficulty by 5%. Hell yeah, Taint of the Sea debuffs applied to players were reduced by 1 on mythic difficulty. Hyja and Himdall leave the arena 85% on heroic difficulty during stage 2. So, yeah, there's stuff that affects people on all difficulties and then some extra stuff.
It was a hard raid. It was a hard raid, especially coming from Emerald Nightmare, which was a little bit undertuned. Like, everybody was a little overgeared. The raid was a little undertuned. And then to go into Trial of Valor, I mean, Mythic Emerald Nightmare before these nerfs was easier than Heroic Trial of Valor.
Yeah.
That's tough. Oh, you're HD again. Hello, Perk. You look so nice.
That's good.
Yes. it kind of. I thought maybe if I turned my feed off, it would come around. But so yeah,
I didn't miss anything.
She didn't do anything. It just works now. So if you're struggling on those, they are a little bit easier now. And then finally, the world boss this week is Calamir, who you can find in Ajuna.
Yep. And as a reminder, if you do Unleashed Monstrosities, you can work towards Calamir counts towards that credit, but you cannot use the artifact tint until you complete Balance of Power when Nighthold comes out.
So moving on from in-game stuff, because we sort of talked about all of that already, Blizzard is having their annual digital sale, which currently includes almost every single pet and mount. I think the only one it doesn't include is Mischief. So I have a cute little slideshow that I think I can put right up on our screen, like while we're talking, so you can see some of the things that are included. But right now, through January 3rd, most of the shop mounts and pets are 50% off, so that means they're ranging from like between $5 and $15, depending on what it is that you're purchasing.
Yeah, like the Warforged Nightmare, I think, is more expensive for a mount because you get the toy with it. But it's only like 15.
Yeah, so I think all the other mounts are like going to be 10, and then the pets are all going to be 10 or 5 as well. I don't think there's any pets that are more expensive, but a lot of these pets are pretty strong in pet battles, and most of them are very cute. I currently own everything that's not on sale except for the Warforged Nightmare, and
I have everything as well. I would I know when we did a pet giveaway, the Cinder Kitten was one of the top 3 pets people said were their favorite.
So cute.
Bright Paw matches the whole Mystic Rune Saber Suramar mount. Like, there's actual little Bright Paws around the city.
And so cute.
Yeah. The Blossoming Ancient is also cool because it changes with the seasons in Azeroth. So we're just talking about the Snowy Owl, and it's like, oh yeah, the Blossoming Ancient is, very wintry and white right now.
Yeah, no, there are a lot of cool pets. And then also, Mischief is not included in the sale, but if you order Mischief before the 31st, you will still have half of her purchase price. No, her entire purchase price for the digital. For the actual in-game pet, her entire purchase price will go to Make-A-Wish. And also, right now, her plushie is sold out online. But if you order her before the 31st, even though you won't be getting her until January, $14 of that purchase will still go to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. 100% of her digital price goes to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So, yeah, if you are looking at buying pets or mounts, now is a really good time. And if you were interested in Mischief, obviously now's a great time to buy her because she is going to benefit an amazing cause for charity.
Yep. So since we don't have a show next week, we wanted to talk about some upcoming things going on.
Yeah.
And since we haven't been getting a lot of questions, just a reminder that you can send SAS148 any questions you have, and he'll be collecting them, and we'll be answering them at the end of the show.
Yep.
So there are several things coming up next week that are interesting. First up is on December 25th, the Winter Veil trees in Ironforge and Orgrimmar have lots of presents you can open.
Yes!
The new presents this year are the Endothermic Blaster.
Yep.
And it's not proven, but we think the second one from the Gently Shaken gift is the disposable Winter Veil suit.
Mm-hmm.
So, you just go there, get the quest, click on the presents, open them up, the cool things inside. And if for some reason you don't open them under the tree, next year they are usually a low drop chance from the stolen present as part of the dailies. And there are like 4 other gifts, and you have like socks, pets, recipes, and a few other things you can
Yeah,
get
well, the
from that.
socks are transmoggable, so they're pretty cool. I just recently did a video on a bunch of like little, kind of like lesser known facts about Wintervale. It was a lot of fun, and I was taking screenshots and stuff for the video, and realized that I'm missing like only 2 of like Wintervale has been around since 2004, since World of Warcraft launched. It was in patch like 1.2 with Meridon and with the ability to toggle your helmet and cape. Like, that's how long Wintervale's been in the game. In the first year, there wasn't much to it. They didn't add the annual gifts until 2007. So there's been, as of this year, there will be 9 gifts total. And I think of the 9, I'll obviously get this year's. I think I'm only missing like 1. I don't have the...
What was your favorite fact in the video that you made, like, the most obscure? Or
I actually did not know that it was in the game the very first year. Like, I didn't realize that it was the first holiday ever in World of Warcraft, and that, you know, it predated Battlegrounds. Like, you know, like, Wintervale was in the game before Battlegrounds were, and I thought it was really interesting that, and I didn't talk about this in the video because I try really hard not to ramble. It's hard for me. But one of the things that I found out was that one of the most exciting things for people in Wintervale of 2004 was that it moved, because there was no battlegrounds, so there were just these world PvP areas. Like, everybody always would fight at, like, South Shore versus Hillsbrad kind of thing. Well, that whole fight just sort of moved north, and everybody would fight where the Greench was. That's where, like, so it was like just a 2-week-long battleground in front of the Greench, who had this, like, kind of crappy Yeti model at the time. The snowballs were funny, too, because people would kind of hang on to them for a really long time and just troll their healers. And they did not nerf that. I mean, even today, you can get the Savage Snowballs, and they'll interrupt friendly players, but they're very limited in quantity, and they weren't limited in quantity, and like the ones that could interrupt your friendly players. So it took them 2 years to nerf the friendly knockback. So people would knock their teammates, they'd grief them in AV.
By the Alliance area in Alterac Valley.
Yeah, they would shoot their teammates off of the bridge, and there's videos of it if you want to see it on YouTube. There's tons of videos of people. They've got to be some of the oldest World of Warcraft videos, because they're all videos from like early 2006, like early December of 2006, before that was nerfed off, and people just knocking their teammates to their death in Alterac Valley. But they did all sorts of things. You would get into a raid, and they would interrupt their healers casting Resurrect. They'd interrupt their healers drinking, which was a huge thing back in vanilla. You drank in between like every pull. So yeah, I got a real kick out of how much people were entertained by such a small thing. Like, nowadays, it's like I feel like people don't really even... We take stuff like that for granted, and that was like such a huge fun thing.
Yeah, it's interesting how like something really small can lead to this sort of unofficial, you know, community movement or PvP thing. Well, now it's like, oh, we need this new battleground, and like these are the rules, and like people.
Oh yeah, no, that apparently
it was really nice how that was spontaneous.
Yeah, back in the day. You know what else I thought was interesting is that whole video started out is I wasn't gonna make a video just about Wintervale. I was gonna do a video of like, you know, Wintervale in all Blizzard games. And what I thought was really bizarre is that, you know, we have this big event in World of Warcraft. We obviously have the huge event in Overwatch that includes like skinned maps, new skins, emotes, all sorts of stuff. And then Heroes of the Storm got some new skins this year. They had skins last year. And then last year, Hearthstone had a really cute card back, and they had a whole tavern brawl that was Wintervale themed, and they had nothing this year. Like,
I mean, they do have, don't they have the game board that's Wintervale themed?
Yes, but it's just last year's game board. It's nothing. There's no new card back. You can't earn last year's card back. There's no tavern brawl.
That is interesting.
It's just last year's, and then there's nothing in Diablo or StarCraft at all, which I know that because it's kind of the end of Season 8 and Season 9 hasn't been announced yet, the Diablo community is at a thin place right now, but I always feel like just adding something so stupid, like, you know, go fight Diablo with a hat on and you get a hat.
You know, the anniversary event, at least in WoW, was coming up in early January.
Yeah, I was really surprised to see nothing in Diablo. And then StarCraft just came out with it, what was it, at Gamescom this year. They announced all the skins for all the units. I was so surprised they didn't have a special skin that you could earn, you know, by doing something like playing AI or something, because that's how you get people re-intrigued in games that maybe have fallen off a little. And I'm obviously not suggesting, because I'm sure that the development teams for those are not nearly as big as like WoW or Overwatch or Heroes. But in the same sense, like, they could have just added a portrait that you could earn, and like people will do little things to earn portraits and stuff. Like, I would have gotten on StarCraft and played for a couple hours if it meant I was going to get something that I wouldn't be able to. Sorry for the cat going. I'm sorry about this, guys. It's super inappropriate. I'll cover him. But yeah, I was really surprised that we didn't. Oh, it does. Is that true? Is that a Blizzard one, or is that a someone in chat just said StarCraft 2 has a co-op Christmassy type themed map? Is that
Is this new?
Yeah, is it, when did that come out, and is it fan made or is it actual?
Of course, Battle.net is like.
Interesting. No, I really didn't know that. Maybe I did the research a little too early and it hadn't come out yet. I'm really interested about, like, thank you for telling me that, Haru. I appreciate that. But yeah, I was just surprised to see how all out Blizzard goes for some of their games, and then it's like not nearly as big of a deal in other games. 100% Blizzard. Yep, they said Blizzard released a co-op themed map this year. I didn't even see it in the launcher or anything though. That's so strange.
Yeah. I don't see anything about Diablo.
Yeah, I didn't see anything. Nobody in the chat said anything about Diablo. Someone just said, "Oh, in StarCraft they did a special map." But it's just weird because I felt like I don't know.
Oh
like,
yeah, it's the violent. It came out on the 19th, and it's the Violent Night in co-op missions, and gifts will spawn across the map.
So my video was filmed on the 19th, meaning that I was probably researching on the 16th and 17th. Yeah, so I guess I might have been a little too early for that, but yeah, it does show in the launcher now too. I guess I hadn't looked since. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I certainly don't want to spread misinformation, but yeah, I was more surprised that they didn't do, after doing like such a big tavern brawl and everything last year, that there wasn't as big of a thing for Hearthstone, and maybe it's because Mean Streets of Gadgets Inn just came out. What?
Maybe next week would be the holiday tavern.
Oh, it could be. I mean, last year it started on, I want to say, the 18th, and it was announced the week before that, because I went back and looked at old blogs and stuff, but still, it was just surprising to see how much they put into some games, and I assume that probably has to do with their audience base. That's what I would guess, is that, they look at how it performed in other years, but yeah, that's all. Just a kind of interesting little tidbit. But I love holidays in World of Warcraft. I absolutely love them. Like, I'm
glad we have so many micro holidays coming.
I'm really excited for them too. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be one of those things where your guild is going to get together and do stupid little things and just have fun and make memories, because the things that you remember long term isn't like, yes, you remember downing a boss, or you remember doing this, you remember doing that, but like, it's usually not in-game achievements that you remember, spending time with friends in game. Like, there was one game I played back in BC. It was like, I was playing on a Moonkin Druid. It might have been Wrath. I was playing a Moonkin Druid. My friend was playing a Shaman, and then we had someone else. And the entire game, we weren't using any abilities that couldn't displace people. So, like, as a Moonkin, I was like waving people off the edge, typhooning them off the edge. And then, as a Shaman, he was like thunder shocking them or thunderstorming them. So it was it's that kind of fun stuff that I feel like always will stand out in your mind. And I think those mini micro holidays can really be somewhere where people will remember, like my guild has done like transmog competitions where we all go to like
the Call of the Scarab might lend itself well to spontaneous things going on, because it's just like pseudo PvP for the whole day of the Alliance versus the Horde.
Yeah, absolutely. And you said that one could almost be a real holiday.
Yeah, I really wish it could become a real holiday. Like, they've got World Quest, they've got things you can buy as turn-ins for currency. Like, it's really pushing the whole micro holiday idea.
Yeah, hopefully this will almost be a test run for some things that could be, something that's more recurring, maybe not once a year, but maybe like seasonally. Yeah. But yeah, I totally agree.
So there was just talking about holidays, there was a blue post today that went over the names of all the micro holidays and their dates, and they left off the Kirin Tor Tavern Crawl. And last week we were saying that would be really cool if it was more of a weekly or monthly thing, like Friday night there's a tavern crawl. So I was like, was this an error, or are they doing something different?
Curious. Very, very curious. But yeah, very interesting. I would love to see. I didn't notice that. I did see the list came out, but it didn't even dawn on me that they didn't include the Kirin Tor. Did they include the boat one that they never tested?
Yeah, we couldn't test that, so I don't know.
Weird. Okay, well, what's up? What else is going on? So we've got...
So on the 27th, we have Outland Time Walking. Yep. So, the weekly Tuesday events are continuing. Yep. For this one, you earn the Time Warp badges. The vendor is Kupri and Shatrath. Yep. Special items that she sells are the Eclipse Dragonhawk mount, the Ever-Shifting Mirror, which ports you to the equivalent area in Draenor, so it's fun to compare, and the Mark of the Ashtongue toy.
That ever-shifting mirror is actually super useful, too, if you're on an alt who's still leveling in Draenor, because it can be used in combat. So if you're in, like, a real pickle, you can use that and port yourself to Shatrath. And
yeah, it also might be a nice hearth, like, if you're in Talador and you want to get to the center, you can just take a portal.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is that if you don't need any of the Time Warp badge items, Mista Pandaria is a time walking event in 715.
Yeah.
And it has all new items that you can use the badges on, and that includes the Yulai Daughter of Jade mount, 2 pets for 2,200 badges each, the portable yak wash toy, and the adopted puppy crate. So
yeah, and that the mount is amazing. It's the Heavenly Jade Cloud Serpent that was data mined back in Pandaria.
Yeah.
It's an awesome mount. The pets are really cool too, and they're the first pets that are available from Time Walking. So hopefully this means that we'll see updates in the future that'll add Time Walking pets for each period of time.
Yeah, and I'm blanking out on the name, but one sec. They have the pets from Time Walking have a special themed ability, so that's cool as well.
Oh yeah, which is always cool too. That they're just aren't they new? Isn't it like a totally new ability that's not?
One sec. I feel like there's just like so much stuff we're covering that is just like.
Just looking up the thing.
There we go. Okay. It is They have the temporal anomaly ability, which reduces your opponent's team speed by 25% for 9 rounds on a 3-round cooldown.
Yep. So if you had both of those guys on your team, it would be pretty brutal. Like it would be pretty brutal for them. Because I would think that would stack. I guess I don't know if it does, but be cool if it did. And then after that, on January 1st, the Dark Moon Fair will begin. And, of course, you can use the carousel or the top hat to get 10% bonus experience and reputation. There's also tons of pets and toys and mounts and transmog. There's tons of stuff that you can earn from the Dark Moon Fair. So if you haven't been in a while, there's probably new stuff since the last time you've been. Also, don't forget that on the 31st, there'll be fireworks on the hour every hour in capital cities to celebrate the new year. So if you haven't seen that before, definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, like if you're going out in the evening, it's going on in the mornings, and if things are stressful instead of having a bad day, it's just nice to go see the fireworks. Like I remember being super new to WoW and it was getting kind of late and I didn't have a ton of plans. I'm just like, whatever, I'll just like have a little dance party with people and watch the fireworks, and that cheered me up.
Yeah, so definitely check it out. And then moving on to like merchandisey type stuff. This is so exciting. So I'm going to start a cute little slideshow that shows off the stuff, and you can talk about this a little bit.
Okay, so we're really excited to have Wowhead's Mega 2016 holiday giveaway going on. The grand prize is a computer from Origin PC. It is a Chronos small form factor gaming desktop. We also have tons of prizes from the Blizzard Gear Shop, including an Illidan statue and tons of like cute but deadly merchandise. We have items from WoW TCG Loot, including the Ghastly Charger Skull and Woolly White Rhino. And we have a lot of merchandise from Jinx, including their new, premium Jinx brand gaming line and really popular World of Warcraft stuff. We're giving away Illidan wallets, as well as some hoodies, so you can have those super nice Illidari hoodies that have like the swirls on it and the purple trim.
Yeah.
And we also have a lot of Jinx merchandise, some things that are new, including the Dalaran University Premium Tee and the CU in Helheim Tee.
Yep, tons of stuff.
Yeah.
What did you say? There's like 80 prizes or something like that?
No, there are like 200 prizes. There are 50 Perk and Panzer pin sets. There are also 50 Mischief battle pets.
Oh my god.
And the computer and physical prizes are US only, but we included, as you mentioned, 80 digital prizes, so people that were international, would still have like really cool things to choose from. Yeah. And like the Ghastly Charger Skull, like that is a retail value of 400, and there's a lot of stuff in there.
Absolutely.
And we're really grateful that all of our sponsors gave us such really cool merchandise.
A whole friggin' computer.
Yeah.
And it's a nice computer too. Like I don't know if you mentioned it, but it has like a good i7 in it. It's got a 980 graphics card in it. Like it's a good computer. Like you're gonna be able to play anything you want on it. It's not it's a really nice computer.
Yeah, we have all the specs on the pricing page. Yeah. And if you're like, well, this is cool, like, how do I enter? We have our usual database scavenger hunt, and what that means is that we have 10 clues, and if you find the correct page that the clue refers to, and you're logged into Wowhead, you will automatically be entered into the giveaway, and you'll get this cute little site achievement that pops up.
I got that yesterday. I won't tell anybody what I was on.
Okay.
I won't cheat.
So
just browse Wowhead. It'll happen.
Yeah. And then, there are 10 chances to enter. So, you can, give clues in the comments. You can have hints, but just don't link the 10 answers around, because that will be sad, and we'll remove that in your entries. But yeah, this runs until, when does it even run until? It runs until the new year. So it runs until January 4th, 2017. And we love doing contests like this, and we're really happy we have so much cool merchandise. As a reminder, because the Mischief Pets are in 2016, that's going to charity, and so many cool prizes.
Absolutely. So if you wanna check that out, Sass, I believe we'll link the post where you can get more information about how to enter. Also on Wowhead this week, there were some improvements made to the actual site. Today in Broken Isles, the site was revamped kind of last week, so there's no longer a sidebar because it wasn't something people were really using. Instead, there's now the top article, and then right under the top article is where your kind of sidebar stuff is now. So Today in Broken Isles will appear kind of on your homepage. It's really nice. Yeah. And it now also includes the menagerie and whatever the bi-weekly archaeology quest is. So
yeah, we added the menagerie because of Squirt, and I think the archaeology stuff is... It's either live or live very soon, and we also added the capability to track if Anima's, if it ever spawns, or Nizak is up. So, now that we have more room and visibility for Today in Broken Isles, we can add more stuff and not worry that we're having this gigantic sidebar that people are not really seeing or using.
Absolutely. And then, as always, we still have some merchandising codes from some of our amazing sponsors. Jinx, of course, is providing us with a bunch of prizes for the contest, and during the month of December, you can get free economy shipping with code WowheadDEC, and they also just recently came out with a huge new line of World of Warcraft merchandise, including these cool Pepe shirts, the Faction Women's long sleeve shirts. This is a Corrupted Ysera shirt. They have a new one with Helheim on it. That Nightmare Lord shirt is pretty new. They also have the Dalaran University alumni shirts, which are very cool.
Yeah, so we're giving some of those away.
Yeah, if you guys were interested in anything from Jinx and you happen to be shopping before the end of the year, definitely make sure you use code WowheadDEC to get free shipping. That does work on international orders as well. So, and that's not limited to WoW merchandise. It's anything on Jinx. It's a great code. And then the Blizzard Gear Shop also provided us with a bunch of stuff for our contest. If you use code WowheadDEC, you'll get 15% off of all accessories and apparel. And then also in this slideshow, I have some photos of things that are on sale right now. Like, for instance, the robes that you just saw normally retail for something like $135. They're half off right now, so they're coming in at only $65. And with your Wowhead code for 15% off, you're going to pay just over $53 for one of those $135 robes. So if there was something that you were interested in as far as accessories or apparel, make sure you grab it before the end of the year and get yourself 15% off. Because
some other really good deals on apparel are the Adventurer's hoodie. It's like a tan and brown.
Yeah, that's on the screen right now.
Yeah, it's like unconventional colors for WoW, and it's usually $50. It's $25 with the discount, and then you get the extra 15% off with Wowhead. So that's another one that is wearing on the show.
Yeah, there's another $30 hoodie. It's the Heroes of the Storm reversible black and red Nexus hoodie, and that's normally $30, so it's only going to be $25-ish with the code. So if you guys were interested,
this dress I'm wearing, it's not on sale, but it is it's on sale in the Blizzard Gear Shop, but it's not it doesn't have the extra discount, but you can still get 15% off of this Sylvanas dress with our code.
So make sure you check that out. And now we are going to see what questions we got from Sass from the people watching us live.
All right, so we don't have a ton of questions, but just going through them quickly. Someone wanted to clarify that for the Pet Battle World Quest, you have to use a team of level 25 pets. So just wanted to mention that. So we didn't.
Oh, that changed. It didn't used to be that way. I'm sorry. I gave bad advice. I gave bad advice.
We've got which patch will be the tokens for Battle.net Balance 7.15 or 7.2. So all the data, we've been data mining it in 7.15. So, it seems like it's ready to
looking like
go.
715. And on the shop page on the PTR is weird too.
Yeah. And also, just someone had a general plea to increase the cap on quest amounts attainable at one time, between the raid and dungeon quests and pet battle quests. You know, people picking them up in Miss Pandaria this week. And then now there's Holiday Garrison quests. There's just a lot of quests you can get. And I know that we both talked about this before, how it can feel kind of intense with quests sometimes. So not really a question, but I think that's a good point.
No, I totally agree. I've always thought that there would, like, we don't have enough quests to, like, we can't track as many quests as we should be able to in our quest log. Like, I don't want to abandon some quests to, like, pick up a holiday quest. I don't want to have to go find the person who gave me that quest. And there's also some quests that are, like, account wide that shouldn't count towards your cap. Like, battle pet quests should not count towards the cap.
I'm also one of those people that likes holding on to the quests from original Encourage. Like, the Alliance needs more Purple Lotus. So, like, they just take up an honorary spot. Because I sort of feel like they're, like, you know, like, endangered species, and I don't want them to go
that's, like, my
forever.
warlock in her bank. She has, like, spellfire oil, and she has, like, gems, the health gems that they used to make for themselves. And the mana gems or whatever they were, they look like hearts, but I have a bunch of that stuff on my Warlock's bank and I don't use them anymore. So I totally get what you're saying about that. I just feel like the quest log should have almost like tabs instead of like sections where it's like, oh, here's each thing. Where if it's a holiday quest, it should come here. And if it's like your artifact quest, I still don't feel like that should count towards your total. I understand not wanting people to pick up just 25 random quests that they're carrying around forever for no reason. But in the same sense, like, if we have to be on those the artifact quests all the time, you can't.
Right.
If you drop them, you're doing you're doing yourself a huge disservice. And I feel like there's just a certain number of quests where you have that many quests and there's nothing you can do about it, and it's constant. There's nothing you can do to get them out of your inventory, and they should either let us have more or separate them so that some don't count. Like, holiday quests shouldn't count and pet battle quests shouldn't count.
Yeah. Before we go on to the show closing, there was one more site update that I forgot to mention.
Oh, sure.
And so, like, I know as part of the whole PTR communication issues, a lot of people have been saying that they don't know what's going on with their classes because there's no official patch notes, like, explaining what to look for. So when Blizzard said that they were going on, vacation, and there would be, decreased communication because people would be out on the holidays, which is totally fair, I went ahead and looked at all the data we got from all those data mining builds and merged them together into, kind of pseudo patch notes so people could see, a compilation of all the changes organized by spec that had happened in the last month.
I actually have that link right here. I just sent it to a friend for personal reasons. So this is actually super helpful. This is... Blizzard hasn't been putting out blue posts for much of the patch notes at all, if any, for 7.15. So Wowhead compiled like all of the class changes in their most final form that we have. I just linked it in Twitch chat if you guys want to check it out. But it's also currently on the front page of Wowhead. If you happen to be watching us in the future, it should still be on the front page of Wowhead. So yeah, I think that is everything this week. We are going to wrap it up. I know this was kind of a short show, but I know at one point we had like 150 people watching, which I was very surprised about because there was no notice of this being late and at a weird time. So thank you so much for, coming and hanging out with us on a Thursday with really no notice at all. We really appreciate you guys coming and, adding to the conversation. And thank you for teaching me things about StarCraft that I didn't know. For those of you who maybe are just joining us and missed out, we do upload all of the VODs for our podcast to youtube.com/wowhead. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us there. Thank you so much to everybody who follows us and subscribes to us on Twitch. We really appreciate it. Just as a reminder, if at one point you were subscribed to us using Twitch Prime with your Amazon Prime subscription, you do have to manually resubscribe every month. And just so you know. But thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for watching us. We are going to go. I hope everybody has a wonderful holiday, and we will see you in 2 weeks. No show next week because Perk will be with me.
Yeah, we'll be hanging out in person.
Yes.
And Pepe.
Yes, yeah. And other Pepe. Well, actually, my Pepe will probably still be on my tree. But we are going to go. I hope that you guys have a wonderful holiday, and we will see you in 2 weeks. Have a great day, guys. Goodbye.
Bye.